one that we're supposed to be connected to, because they've told us you gotta walk this tightrope and this line, and if you walk all off the line, he's gonna send you to hell. You could live 30 years worshiping and living for him, make one error, and if you die in that error, you go into hell. What in the name of common sense does that mean? Are you crazy? Why would I even serve him if he's that sadistic and masochistic? I don't need a God like that. And so if I am so focused on staying on the line, I can't fulfill my assignment. But my God is big enough to handle my fault, my strokes, grubs, my mess ups, because he's already prepared for what I might do. He knows what I'm going to do before I do it, and he already made preparation for me before I get there. What follows darkness is light. That darkness is the indicator that light is getting ready to shine. So there it is in Genesis, when darkness was upon the face of the deep, and God in the spirit form moved upon the face of the waters, and then God said, let there be. Because darkness precedes the light. Are you understanding what I'm saying? But he needs the darkness there so that God can move upon the face of the deep, so that the shift can take place. Let's look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor that shift take place in the darkness. Y'all didn't hear what I just said. Everybody's not going to see the shift that's happening. They see the chaos, but they don't see the shift. They see all the craziness going on in your life, but they don't understand that underneath the darkness, God is moving in secret. He's moving in quiet. He's moving in the hidden places. He's moving in the cracks and the corners and the crevices. He's moving in places that you cannot see. And when the light comes, they're going to see a new order. What if everything you desire is already waiting for you? What if you could create, cultivate, and curate the life you desire? Well, you can, because the power to manifest is in you. Secure your spot in this life-changing 4-hour workshop coming to a city near you. The Manifestation Tour. Step into your new reality. Some of you are even afraid to dream, afraid to imagine. But I'm here to tell you that you are an infinite, limitless, boundless being. Are you willing to do what is necessary to have what you desire?
Thank you for joining us. Please take a moment and like the Facebook page. Subscribe to the YouTube page and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live. If you are finding value in these enrichment sessions, please consider supporting this page financially. Your donations allow us to continue to provide spiritual enlightenment, self-exploration, and kingdom knowledge. Also, consider becoming a partner because partnerships have this privilege. As a partner, you'll be able to attend our annual Partners Only Summer Summit, join us for our 6 a.m. virtual daily guided meditation sessions, weekly advanced empowerment sessions, regular prophetic insights and instructions, 30% discount on all Emerge books and merchandise, and a custom Emerge t-shirt. You'll also gain full access to the private Emerge movement community page as well as group chats. Once again, thank you for watching.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Emerge Empowerment Session. I'm your host, Isaac J. Miles Sr., and I am so glad that you decided to join me on this evening as we are about to embark upon what I think is a very important conversation. You tuned in to the right place at the right time in the right moment to have this conversation and to begin to discuss what we are dealing with, what we are facing, and what we must do moving forward. So I am glad for those of you that decided to tune in with me on this evening. I'm going to ask you to do me a favor and please like this live as well as share it. Like and share. Those of you who are on right now, we're still waiting for others to get here. Like and share with as many people as you possibly can. Send it out to your group chat, to your family, your friends, and everybody that you know of. Tag as many people as you like in the comments if you want. That will alert them that we are live and on the air right now so that they can come and participate in this live conversation this evening. It's going to be a very significant and very important conversation. I am glad to see you here. Those of you who are on with me right now, if you don't mind, just say hello in the comments so that I'll be able to know who's out there, who's watching, how many of you are with us this evening. I appreciate your being here. I really appreciate your being here. This is the beginning of the month of May. In this very significant time and a very significant year, the year 2026, and some things are unfolding. And if you've been following this platform for any length of time, especially since the end of last year, the beginning of this year, then very little of any of this should be catching you by surprise, because I began to speak about some of the things that would unfold in this year that are happening right now. Okay, right now, I spoke prophetically and said that there were certain things that were going to take place during the course of this year. I spoke very specifically about certain timelines when things would occur, and we are seeing it happen right before us in this moment. And so today we're going to just kind of look at what's happening, what's unfolding, so that we can get an understanding of what's happening around us globally as well as nationally, and then probably with you personally as an individual as well, and then give you some insight and direction
about how you can best navigate these times that we find ourselves in right now. So please make sure that you do that, that you like and share this live with as many people as you can right now. Hello, Jamie. I see you on here. Hello, Toya. Hello, Sam. I see you on here as well. Thank you so much for your support and for your being here with us today. Go ahead and just continue to like and share. I want to give just a few more minutes, and it doesn't matter to me really how many people show up today. I'm going to follow through with this conversation, even if there's only a handful of us on here, because it's that important. And if others decide to join in later, then they can. If not, then that's okay too. But my assignment is to put the word out there, to have the conversation, and then whoever receives it, and whoever doesn't, okay. But I'm definitely going to do that. I'm going to give a few more minutes for others to join us. Those of you who are already on here, to tag as many people as you'd like in the comments, or to invite them to come and be a part of this live broadcast. So I'm going to take just a few moments and we'll be right back. All right, and we're back. So let's dig right in, go to where we're going. Listen, I wanted to take a moment this evening and again have the conversation. How you doing, Patrice? Good to see you. I'm glad that you decided to join us this evening. And I've entitled this particular empowerment session a call to action, because it is indeed just that. It is a call to action for all of us. All of us. Some very significant things have been happening since the beginning of this year up until now. From the start of this present administration, when this regime came into power here in the United States, as well as what's happening globally, and what's happening locally and unfolding around us, it's important that we have what I would call the spirit of Issachar. Issachar were the tribe of Israel that were labeled as those who could discern the time and the seasons. It's important that we are able to accurately discern the times and the seasons, that we are not just running around blind, aimlessly, wandering about, meandering through the dark, feeling our way along the wall, trying to navigate and this life or this three-dimensional existence in the earth, trying to matriculate through these troubling, disturbing times without any real direction. And I'll say this at the onset that may cost me some viewers from the very beginning, is that this is not one of those circumstances, ladies and gentlemen, that you can dance your way through it, shout your way through it, and even just pray your way through it. I know, don't turn me off, don't click off just because I said that. There is a point where, ladies and gentlemen, you have to do more than just pray. I am not negating prayer. I am not saying that prayer is not in order, but I am saying that faith without corresponding works, without taking definitive actions, without strategic decision-making and movement is dormant, it's dead, it's inactive and ineffective. So you can pray and shout and scream and speak in tongues and quote scriptures and pray those scriptures into the atmosphere. But if you are not positioned to take definitive action, courageous, strategic movement, progressive movement forward, then your praying is ineffective. The effectual, fervent prayer of the righteous does avail much. But what makes prayer effective is when it is supported by action, by corresponding action. What makes your prayer more effective is when you embody what you are decreeing and declaring, what you are calling into existence. Calling those things that be not as though they were is powerful, but you have to actively be in pursuit of what it is that you are declaring. And you have to fully embody that, live it out in your everyday life. Because praying is not some magic potion. It's not abracadabra. It's not hocus pocus. It's not some magic spell that you're able to put out there in the atmosphere and then poof, everything is lovely. Because if that were the case, there's a whole lot of things that's going on right now that wouldn't be going on because we've been praying for years. Come on, decades, centuries even. Especially our people, our culture, Black people, we've been praying for centuries. So, I mean, if all it took was prayer, then trust me, we wouldn't even have 1/100th of the problems and the issues that we are facing right now today. So it's going to take more than just prayer in order for us to be able to master what is unfolding in front of us and navigate it effectively as we live out our lives in this three-dimensional realm. There is spirituality and then there is practicality. And the two are not diametrically opposed to each other. Okay? They have to co-mingle together. You need to be spiritual, but you also need to be practical. Practicality is not the enemy of spirituality, and spirituality does not cancel out practicality. Are y'all following what I'm saying? I hope that I'm making sense to you, and I hope that you're not getting upset before I can even start digging in. But some of the things that we are facing in this present moment that require our action require very down-to-earth, human, practical engagement and action in order for us to begin to see and bring about change. Change is absolutely possible. Change is possible. If I didn't think it was possible, I wouldn't even waste my time on here. I wouldn't waste my time teaching, speaking, or having these empowerment sessions. But because I do know that change is possible, I do know that the kingdom of God is within us, and that kingdom is powerful. It enables us and empowers us to begin to create, cultivate, and curate the life that we desire, that we are able to begin to shape and manifest a new reality. Because I know that, then it is now my responsibility as a voice, if you will, crying in the wilderness, the proverbial wilderness, to empower you with the necessary tools and the mindset so that you are able to begin to take specific actions that not only progressively impact your life, but impact the lives of those that you're connected to. I hope that you're understanding. Now, listen, the comment section is open. I want your input. I want your feedback. As a matter of fact, I'm going to ask you some questions along the way. So be prepared to put your answers in the comments because I want this to be a robust, interactive conversation around these issues. Okay, so let's dig and let's talk. Let's talk a little bit. As I've been saying, for those of you who've been following the platform, we are in the middle, and I mean literally in the middle of a global paradigm shift. I'm going to say that again. We are right in the middle of a global paradigm shift. A 10-year cycle, if you will, that began in 2020 and will take us into 2030. And there's a little bit of an overlap that will flow into about 2035. But we are in the midst of a global paradigm shift, a global change throughout humanity and society at large. Now, when I talk about a paradigm shift, let me define that again, even though I've done it before in other conversations we've had, but I'm just going to do a quick definition. When we talk about a paradigm shift, we are talking about a change, a dramatic, progressive change in the mode of operation throughout all of humanity, touching every pillar of influence throughout humanity. Everything is being impacted and touched by the shift. Nothing will escape the shift, the force of this shift in the mode of operation, the mode of operation, the mode in which we function as a society, as humanity. A shift in our perspective, a shift in our perception, a shift in our beliefs, and what we as a collective global society agree upon. Are you understanding what I'm saying? There are certain universal collective beliefs that humanity have held to or agreed upon even without us having a collective meeting, if you will, but there's been a meeting of the minds. And so there are some universal values, principles, ideologies, and beliefs that have been a part of the human experience for centuries. And what I'm saying to you is that many of those ideas, beliefs, concepts, values are about to shift. Well, they're not about to shift. They are shifting as we speak. We are in the midst of shifting as we speak. Now, I want you to imagine that when something has been hardened or has been the norm in the circumference of the universe for so long, and everything has operated according to this particular pattern, functioned in this particular manner, what it means when the entire globe, this entire collective is now shifting. That's upsetting. That is troubling. That is not a small feat. It's like turning an entire ocean liner around in the ocean. And so the movement of the rudders and that turns the shift causes a disturbance in the ocean, and waves begin to kick up, and the movement, while gradual, is disturbing and kinetic, and it feels almost chaotic and out of control. That's what humanity is experiencing right now. It's like having I wish I had thought about this, having a glass that is filled with dirt and gunk and filth inside of it. And then you come along with a pitcher of clean, pure water and start to pour it into the glass. It is disturbing everything that is caked and stuck to the sides of the glass. And in pouring, if you keep pouring the water, it begins to cause the dirt to not only circulate and agitate, but begin to rise to the surface. And it looks absolutely horrible at the moment when you're pouring in the water, because all this dirt is rising to the surface. But if you just keep pouring, eventually the clean water underneath will push all the dirt out of the glass until there is no dirt left, and it is just pure, clean water in the vessel. Well, that's what's happening in a sense in the earth. And so all of the filth, the nastiness, the ugliness that has been a part of humanity for centuries is now rising to the top. It's disturbing, it's frustrating, it's aggravating, it's infuriating. But it is not without purpose. It is not without meaning, because you cannot heal what you ignore. You cannot heal what you pretend doesn't exist. You cannot fix something if you have convinced yourself that nothing is wrong. I'm about to say something that's probably going to upset a few of you if you happen to be supporters of this administration. And for those of you who are not supporters, this present administration is not the substratum of the issue or the problems. They are the stick in the mud that's stirring up the filth that has always been there. I'm saying it again. I'm saying it again. We are seeing a rise in misogyny, in racism, xenophobia, division, hatred, malice, a rise of it, not just in the United States, but even globally. And this administration is not the progenitor of it. This administration is just the stick that's stirring up the mess that has always been there. You'll hear people, and I've heard it over and over again as I'm watching the news and listening to podcasts and watching other things as it goes forward and reading newspapers, and you'll inevitably hear people saying, "This is not who we are. This is not America. This is not humanity. This is not our society. This is not who we are." Ladies and gentlemen, I come to tell you today, it is exactly who we are. It is exactly who America is and has always been. Despite what Tim Scott, Byron Donalds, and all of the others will say to you, and the MAGA nuts might say, America is a racist country and always has been a racist country. Let me say it again, loud, proud, and strong. America is a racist, systemically racist country. It always has been and continues to be so in this moment. Racism has never gone away. It has been buried and masked and disguised and dressed up, prettied up, had cologne sprayed on it to make it appear as something else. It's been labeled as meritocracy. It's been labeled as in fairness. But in fact, it has always existed in this country. And here's another thing. Not just in America, around the world. I will say it for those who are sitting in the back. It doesn't exist just in America, but around the world. It's just very pronounced and evident in the United States, but it exists around the world. Are you hearing me? And now, as clean water is being poured in, as a shift is underway, and we're in the middle of it, this administration, as the stick, is stirring up what has always been there, and it's causing an uproar, as it should, and a mess, as it should, that is reminding us, especially those of us of my generation and older, of what has always been true, and show us that we have not come as far as we think. I hope you're listening to me. I hope you're listening to me. There is proof, ladies and gentlemen, from the political sphere to the economics sphere, the religious sphere, the media, every pillar of influence is impacted by this shift, and because it is infected with racism. Religion, politics, business, economics, media. Are you hearing what I'm saying? education, entertainment, every facet of every part of human society is laced systemically with racism. Now, I heard someone saying, oh, here they go playing the old victim card. This is not about victimology. This is about reality. Again, you cannot heal what you pretend doesn't exist. The reason why racism in the United States has been so stubborn as it is because the United States has never fully acknowledged its reality and its presence in every facet of this country's existence. This country was founded and built upon racism. Every system in its existence has woven into the very fabric and foundation of it racism. You can't name a single area within this country that is not impacted by racism. And if you don't name it, if you don't confront it, if we don't admit that it's there, then we will continue to have the same struggles. Ladies and gentlemen, it is appalling to me that my grandchildren will have to face the same struggles I had to face growing up as a child in these United States. It is appalling. It is appalling. It is the most sad, disgusting thing that you can imagine that my grandchildren, not my children, my grandchildren will have to fight the same fights that my grandparents had to fight in this country. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you hear what I'm saying? I want you to think about that for just one moment. I want you to think about the fact that in 2026, okay, 2026, no matter how long ago the media and others try and make you think that these things have been, we're talking about things that happened 60 years ago. That's my lifetime. I'm well above 60 years old, and some of you out here are above 60 years old as well. So we're not talking about in the Stone Ages. We're not talking about hundreds of years ago. We're talking about in our lifetime. Hello? And yet we see the head of Jim Crow poking up out of the sand, being fully resurrected in 2026. Are you hearing me? The Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, those were established and solidified in the 60s. Not the 1860s, not the 1760s, not the 1560s, 1960s. During my childhood and the childhood of many of you that are watching right now, our parents, not great, our parents fought, marched, died, bled. Are you hearing me? Sat in at lunch counters, were pummeled with batons, sprayed with water hoses, bitten with dogs, spat upon, brutalized. Not our great, 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 our parents and grandparents were denied access. Are you hearing me? Okay, I can go as far as to say my siblings. I have siblings who went to segregated schools. Great, great grandparents, siblings who went to segregated schools, and they were integrated in my lifetime. So we're not talking about centuries ago. We're not talking about a millennia. We're talking about within the past 60 years. And yet, this Supreme Court, and if you've been following the platform, you heard me speak about this, I prophesied about this, man, back in 2015. And then again in 2019, going into 2020. Those of you who've been following me, you can bear witness. Please put it in the comments. I don't mind you putting it in there. I said it. I told you it was getting ready to happen. And this Supreme Court has now, you may as well say, done away with the Voting Rights Act. It's still technically on the books, but it's just as ineffective, and they have taken its teeth, its power, its significance, and completely crushed it. We're talking about the right to have representation in the United States government. And don't think that it's going to stop with the federal government. Believe me, that it begins with the federal government, and it will find its way down to your local government, where they will gerrymander districts and wards to make sure that they dilute Black votes, Black voices, and that representation only looks like them. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I hope that you're paying attention to what I'm saying. And this is not, let me help some of you church folk. You say, oh, the devil is, this ain't the devil. There is no devil or demon or evil spirit or witchcraft that's causing any of this. This is wicked humanity. These are people who are craven, who are fearful of the changing demographics of this country, and have a lustful desire to remain in a position of power, and are willing to do whatever it takes to subjugate anyone that doesn't look like them. I need you to hear what I'm saying to you. All the Hanama, Shanama, Ikandolobo, Osha, ta in the world is not going to fix this. This requires action. Brave, courageous, strategic action. Pray. Yes, I appreciate your praying. Prayer has its place. But ladies and gentlemen, it is time to act, which means that we need to address some things. We need to address, number one, the absence of true, authentic Black leadership in our community. Now, there's a number of reasons that we lack the kind of leadership that we had during the time of W.E.B. Du Bois, or during the time of Booker T. Washington, or during the times of Martin Luther King or Malcolm X. or these other great leaders during the time of Fannie Lou Hamer and others. The reason that we are lacking it, there are a number of different reasons that are out there, a number of things that we can point to that really spread across the spectrum. But I want to address just a few of them. And I want to address them to those of you who are watching this particular platform, because I know a number of you that tune into this platform are religiously oriented. Can I tell you that one of the issues and the reasons is the failure of the Black church? I am going to say it again. The failure of the Black church. Those of us who grew up in church, especially during the times that I'm talking about, know that the Black church was always the hub, the voice, the place where we would gather, and the leaders and preachers of those churches were spiritual, religiously minded, but they were also politically savvy and concerned about the community and the culture. There's a reason why many of the Black leaders were also ministers that came out of the church. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Whether it was the mosque or it was the Christian church or some other, but they came from religious organizations. Dr. King, Malcolm X, Jesse Jackson, all of these people, Abernathy, Lowry, all of these people out of the church, because the church was the hub, the launching pad, the place where we gathered and we heard not just a good hallelujah sermon that made you feel good, but also were given the marching orders, instructions, strategic planning, and activation that was necessary to bring about systemic change within our community. And now the church has lost its voice. I'll say it again. We're so busy. Turn to your neighbor, slap your neighbor, high five. Turn to your neighbor and say, shake your neighbor's hand, shake it like you're going to shake it off. Yanda baba, I see. Houses, cars, and land. Money's coming your way. Oh, the Lord is showing me, getting ready to raise you up, and you're going to be famous, and you're walking in this place. And all of these so-called prophets and seers, yet none of them seem to be able to see their way through what we are facing right now. None of them seem to see a strategic plan that we can follow as a culture, as a people, to be able to navigate these troubling times and to call us into unity and harmony so that we can effectively resist what's happening to our community. Our rights for representation is being snatched away from us, and the pulpit is silent. Can I say it? I'm going to say it whether you want me to say it or not. If you are attending a congregational gathering anywhere, and the person leading that gathering never mentions what's going on around us, voting rights, civil rights, human rights, never talks about the failing economy, never talks about strategic planning for our community to build and rebuild, never deals with the glaring issues of the day, that is not prophetic preaching. Prophetic preaching is not about you getting a house or money or cars or land. Prophetic preaching addresses the issues of the day, speaks truth to power, and gives us marching orders and declares a clarion call that comes from the divine to summon us to stand up and begin to fight. That is apostolic, prophetic preaching. Not God getting ready to give you a husband. Ooh, I see you in a wedding dress. I see you marching down the aisle. I see your bank account explode. I said it. I mean it. I mean it. All that jerking, hiccupicing, and G, and nobody addressing what is going on right now. Our churches have lost their voice. They've lost their voice. Don't be bringing politics into the church. It has always been a part of the church. Jesus, your Jesus was political. He addressed the political issues of the day. Jesus was socialist. He dealt with the social ills of the day. What do you think feeding the hungry was about? What do you think he meant when he says, if I was hungry and you didn't feed me, I was naked, you didn't clothe me, I was in prison, you didn't visit me. What do you think he was doing? Awakening the social consciousness of those that were around him, of the society at large, and saying you have a responsibility, not just to yourselves, but to each other, to the community, to humanity at large. Are you hearing what I'm saying? To do more than just hand out turkeys on Thanksgiving. Lord have mercy. Oh my. Oh my. Or hand out backpacks as a back to school event. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And I'm not belittling doing those things. That's nice. It's wonderful. Okay, keep doing it. That's nice. But we have to do more than just that. Are you understanding me? Giving our kids backpacks as they go back to school is a wonderful thing. What's bigger and more important is, what are they being taught as they are banning books in our school that teach the true history of this country? That the methods that are used are outdated, that our children are growing up crippled because many of them don't even know how to critically think because, watch this, the use of technology has made them lazy. They can't even do basic math without using technology. They got an iPad. I'm talking about kindergarten, first grade, second grader, got an iPad, but can't write in cursive. Can't do longhand division, multiplication. Don't understand our history. Don't even know our history. Hello? They get a couple of weeks of Martin Luther King and Mary McLeod and Mary Bethune rather, and a few other names, and that's pretty much it during February. And that's pretty much it. And if you say anything that even hints to not slavery, but the cause of slavery and Jim Crow and segregation and black codes, then they'll shut you down. And we have stood by and allowed it. Get mad for a second, have a couple of marches in the street, and then go right back to what we've been doing the whole time before. And it's become such a pattern that the powers that be know it And so they're willing to endure and weather the storm of outrage because they're like, it only lasts for a couple of weeks. It only lasts for about a month or so. Then they'll go right on back. They'll forget all about it. They'll adapt. They'll adjust. And then we can roll back those protections even further. Do you understand how important it is, how significant it is that the Voting Rights Act is now an empty document? That they can now legally gerrymander districts all across this country? You see how quickly Alabama moved, Louisiana, Tennessee, all the usual suspects. Hello? Texas, you see how quickly they moved to redraw the maps? Whose voices are they trying to silence? Whose voices are they trying to silence? Who do you think that they're trying to draw out of power to make sure that you don't have a voice or representation? Who do you think? Do you understand that myself and our parents and grandparents who all went through that period and era of the civil rights movement, do you understand that the civil rights movement opened the door not just for Black people, for everyone? White women wouldn't have the right to vote if it wasn't for the civil rights movement. Gay rights, civil rights movement. Are you hearing me? The Irish, the Jewish, the Hispanic, all have benefited from the blood, sweat, and tears, the death of Black people fighting for civil rights in this country. They are all the beneficiaries of the work that we've done. Are you hearing me? And yet, it is being rolled back. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? These rights that we have fought and died for, are being rolled back right before our very eyes. And unfortunately, with some Black faces who don't have Black souls, just Black faces, are the advocates of it. Hello, Byron Donalds, Killer Mike. Are y'all hearing me? Hello, Tim Scott. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? Wiping out the work done by the people who made it possible for them to be who they are right now. Or every single one of them will tell, ain't nobody gave me nothing. I had to struggle and fight. I did this on my own. You ain't done jack. If it hadn't been for those people, my parents, grandparents, their sacrifice, you wouldn't be where you are right now. And you got the nerve to sit there and put your Black face up there to support this kind of discrimination, racism, and hatred. Hello? That's right. T, I see you, Russell. Russell says that they've been a service to all mankind. Yes. Hold on. Let me put some of these comments on the screen. Let me go over here real quick. Service to all mankind has been downplayed in our community to where the silence has stifled our community. It absolutely has. Absolutely has. Absolutely has. Everything is about yourself. Even, and it's, I know y'all ain't gonna like me. I know you ain't gonna like me, but that mindset, that selfish mindset, me, myself, and I, is being promoted by the very church that used to point us to the community. Now it's like, don't, child, leave them behind. Don't worry about them. You only worry about yourself and do for you and do for you. And you get all you can get all you can get. Don't worry about that. Oh, that's just the devil out there. We can pray the devil away. You just keep getting all that you can get. And so we're not looking to serve. Our leaders are not looking to serve, they're looking to be served. I used to have people pissy with me because I didn't have a whole bunch of armor bearers carrying around. Like my hands don't work. I don't know how to walk. I can't carry my own stuff. Hello? Like, I need you to come up there and wipe the sweat from my face while I'm preaching. What kind of nonsense? Are you hearing what I'm saying? Yeah, this is the kind of nonsense that's promoted in the church. To wipe away your sweat while you stand up there hollering a bunch of nothing, of no real substance. Say yeah, say yeah. Okay, say yeah to what? Ninja, say yeah to what? You ain't said nothing. And so the political arena, the policy arena that is having an outsized impact on our community specifically, and make no mistake of it, ladies and gentlemen, Black people are the target. We've always been the target. No matter what else they do or what else is being done in the name of this, that, or the other, please understand that at the foundation, the ultimate target is us. It is us. There's an old cliche that is absolutely true. It's an idiom that says when white America gets a cold, Black America gets pneumonia. It is effectively saying that whatever is happening throughout society has a disproportionate outsized effect on Black people. Are you understanding me? Unemployment generally may be at 4.3, 4.2%. In the Black community, 8.5, 8.6. Okay, inflation causes prices to skyrocket. Who is disproportionately affected by inflation more than anyone else? Black communities. Because there is a huge wage gap, between everyone else and Black people in this country. I said everyone, not people of color, Black people. Yeah, I know that's going to piss some people off too. I said what I meant. Not people of color. We appreciate your support and y'all jumping on the bandwagon. But we understand that the ultimate target in all of this has always been us. The difference is our parents didn't lay down and take it. What are we doing? This is a call to action, ladies and gentlemen. What are you willing to do? Beyond your shouting and dancing, what are you willing to do? Beyond all of your keyboard thugging and posting this on Facebook and on Twitter and on Instagram and this, that, and the other, what are you willing to do? beyond making a video about it and making sure you take pictures at this place or that one and show everybody how nice you can dress to go to this, that. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to do? What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to give yourself to? What are you willing to put on the line? How far are you willing to go? Come on. Now, for some of you, the deconstruction and dismantling of the Voting Rights Act means absolutely nothing because you don't vote. You don't even vote. You sit back and say stupid junk like, oh, they going to do what they want to do anyway. My vote don't matter. It don't matter. Ain't no need to be voting. I'm not going to be out here wasting my time voting. Do you know how many people died so you could have the right? You know how many people were beaten, brutalized, and bloodied just so you could have the right to exercise your voice, to contribute to the conversation, to be a part of the franchise? And you're lazy behind sitting there talking about you not going to vote? Well, ain't none of them right. The Democrat Party is just as bad as the Republican Party. First of all, that's a straight out lie. There are racists in the Democrat Party as well as the Republican Party. But we do have to draw a distinction. There is one party that's trying to roll back all of the rights, all of the powers, and the progress that our parents made. Only one that outwardly embraces segregation, racism, sexism, xenophobia. Only one that is so aligned with it that every racist organization or terroristic cabal like the KKK, the Proud Boys, 2%ers, the 1%ers, and all the rest of them align themselves with that one party. Only one. Does that make the Democrat Party pearly white? Absolutely not. There's some racist, foolish, dumb behind crap that comes out of the Democratic Party as well. But nowhere, if we are comparing and weighing them out, come on. There's no comparison. None whatsoever. None. How many Republicans do you hear advocating for the Voting Rights Act? How many black Republicans? That's almost an oxymoron. Black conservatives, do you hear advocating for the Voting Rights Act, for the Civil Rights Act? They are not the same. There are faults on both sides, but they are not the same. There is no both sides of them in this conversation. Unfortunately, there are only two parties that we can choose from. So yes, in many cases, we are choosing the lesser of the two evils, but it is far less evil than the other. Are you hearing what I'm saying? The idiocy of prominent black voices who now are trying to be apologists for the civil rights movement and for the trying to be apologists for the black community are the same voices back in 2015 and 16 and said, no. Don't Don't vote for Hillary. That just a few years ago said, no, don't waste your time voting for Kamala, Kimiala, and all the other names that they came up with to call her, like they couldn't pronounce her name. Hello? If you're not going to vote for Trump, just don't vote at all. Well, how's that working out for you now? How's that working out for you? Where's Jill Stein at now? Where's she at? Where's Cornell? Where's he at? Where's Tavis? I'm calling them all out. Where they at? Had a mouthful to say about President Obama, a mouthful to say about Kamala Harris, a mouthful to say about Hillary Clinton, a mouthful to say always about those who represent the Democrat Party. But when it comes down to this, are dead silent. I don't hear no think pieces now because we've lost our sense of community and being concerned. You demand that Vice President Harris put out a black agenda. Where's your black agenda for Trump? Huh? Where is that? I don't see you advocating for that. Come on, Ice Cube. Where's the black agenda that Trump gave us? Are you black Republicans, black MAGA? Yeah, I know. I ain't getting a whole lot of amens and a whole lot of support in this one. That's all right. I'm saying it anyway. Told you, I don't care whether there's 500 people on here, or 2 people, or 1. Still gonna say it. Okay? Our, not just voting rights, our civil rights are under attack in this country right now. Trust me, if they can rob you of your voice, which is your vote, then you have no one that looks like you, thinks like you, is concerned about you in positions of power. What do you think they're going to do? They've already shown you, just with this present administration, just with having a majority in all 3 houses, in the House, in the Senate, and having the presidency, as well as the Supreme Court, they've already shown you we're taking the first steps to remove your voice completely so we can pass the legislation that uplifts us and oppresses you. Are you hearing me? Do you understand that it was on John Roberts, the Chief Justice? It's been on his wish list his entire career to get rid of the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act. He succeeded with the Voting Rights Act, and they are taking aim at the Civil Rights Act as well, as we speak. With the yes and amen of people like Clarence Thomas. That Sambo. I said it. I meant what I said. Hello? Huh? He sits where he sits because of the people who marched in the streets and died and were murdered and assassinated so that he had the opportunity to sit where he sits. And he spits in the face of all of those people every single day. And what do we do other than put posts on Facebook? How easily are we distracted? You worried about Meg Thee Stallion and Clay Thompson. Who the heck cares? Who in the hell gives a flip about Meg and Clay when our very voice is being snatched away? Are you hearing me? You sitting up worrying about celebrity relationships when your voice is being stolen from you. And Jim Crow is being resurrected and put back in place, served to you on a platter, legitimized by those in power, and unfortunately, legitimized by some of those who look just like you and will tell you or try and convince you that it's not that bad. It's not that big a deal. It's actually good for you. Anything for the proximity to whiteness. Come on. The political landscape has shifted and is shifting even as we speak. While I am on here having this conversation with you right now, there is an undertow. There's a shifting in the political landscape in this country right now. As I said, Voting Rights Act was the first to fall. All three pillars of it. It's still technically on the books, but it is an empty shell. It's a gun with no bullets. That's what I said. It's a gun with no bullets. And what's on the chopping block now is the Civil Rights Act. There are cases waiting to be taken up, not by the full court. No, they've changed their mode of operation as well. And now the shadow docket has become the more common practice. The shadow docket is when not the entire court takes up the issue, but one particular justice will take up an issue and rule as the voice of the entire court. Now, which of those six do you trust with that kind of power? And what do you think that Amy Coney Barrett is going to do with that kind of power? With Alito or Thomas to have that kind of power? To hear a case that deals with civil rights, how do you think he's going to rule? And yet you've allowed them to convince you that your vote doesn't matter. Do you think they would be fighting as hard as they fought to get rid of your voting rights if it wasn't important? If it didn't matter? Would they be doing the kinds of things that they are doing, outright cheating the system, destroying the system, just to silence your voice if it didn't matter? Are you hearing me? The political landscape has shifted, and it is continuing to shift. It is continuing to shift as we speak. And it's shifting in ways that directly impact the Black communities. Redistricting, court decisions, affecting our voting rights, affecting our civil rights, legislation around education, around policing, around housing. Do y'all hear me? Around economic opportunity. That is effectively closing doors of opportunity that our parents fought and died to kick open. This is where we are. This is what we're facing. Right now, because of the ridiculous, asinine, Israeli-led, backed foreign policy, and I said what I said, I meant what I said, because Netanyahu is really running our foreign policy. It's not Donald Trump. Certainly not Pete Hegseth. His dumb behind wouldn't know a strategy if he tripped over it. But Bibi is calling the shots. And Trump, like a lapdog, is just following. Hello? Has put us into this position now where we are at war with the country that didn't attack us, didn't come after us. And as much as they lie and say they were this close to having a nuclear weapon, that's a lie. How do you 1 minute say that you completely obliterated their entire system so that they could never have a nuclear weapon, and then a few weeks later say, oh, they were just a couple of weeks away from having it, so we needed to go to war? Which one is it? Liar. But Bibi said, let's go to war. Go, let's attack them. And here come our administration running right behind them and doing exactly that. Now, oil prices skyrocket. Prices are going through the roof. Economically, we are being devastatingly impacted. But who do you think is being impacted the most economically? It's us. Inflation and prices are skyrocketing, while at the same time, the same people, the same party wants to cut Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, and the social safety net, food stamps, WIC, all of the things that people in our community benefit from. And tell you, oh, no, don't worry about it. We got you. If we keep giving billions of dollars away to the already rich billionaires, trillionaires, it'll make its way down to you. That Ronald Reagan theory of trickle-down economics that has never worked because it was never intended to. No, don't pay attention. Look over here at Meg Thee Stallion. Look over here at Diddy. Look over here. Look. See this? And they keep putting these shiny objects out there, hoping that you don't pay attention to what's actually happening here that's going to destroy your life. You worried about R. Kelly. They worried about making sure that you can't vote, that you don't have food, that you don't have a job, that you don't get a good education. You worried about the next episode of The Real Housewives of this place or that place, or some other stupid behind reality show that's not reality at all, while they are slowly, methodically taking the food right off your table, robbing you of your rights, and feeding you a steady diet of entertainment, empty entertainment. empty promises that if you work hard and play by the rules, then you can succeed. They're not playing by the rules. Why should you? What rules are they talking about? Oh, rules for you, not for us. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Okay? And so yes, that's good, Patrice. Patrice said, let me put that on screen as well. She said, amen. Come on, say it again. We have laid down too long. Laid down willingly. Okay? And so here we are. Here we are, where we are on the back end of the political, of the social, the economic end of what is happening throughout. And Lord, they brought us here, our people, and gave us their whitewashed religion, and we gobbled it up because look, we don't want you to have freedom. We don't want you to have voting rights. We don't want you to have civil rights. We don't want you to even be considered a human. But we do want to give you white Jesus. Oh, yes. Get this white Jesus now. Now, hold on before you get carried away. Matter of fact, let us tear these certain pages out of that Bible because we don't want you getting no ideas about liberation and about freedom or anything else like that. We just want you to focus on servants, obey your masters. Go on. God is colorblind. What kind of bull crap nonsense is that? If God was colorblind, it wouldn't be God. I don't want a God that has an ailment, a disability. Colorblindness, that's a disability. That's something you cannot do. I can't see color. What? And then why in the world did God create all of these colors if God is colorblind? But it's a bill of goods they sold you. Adapt this white Jesus religion. Come on. I know I'm making some folk mad at me now. So you can learn to be submissive and servile, and we can lower your self-esteem and your self-worth and your value and teach you to just be obedient and color inside of the lines and follow the rules. Because the last thing we want you to ever do is to start to recognize that you're a God, that you are the divine vessel through which God experiences and expresses itself in the earth. We don't want you thinking like that. We want you to think like, talk like, walk like, act like a servant. So that when we begin to impose even more rules, we can dip them in the religious ideology of the church and feed it to you, and you will gladly eat it down. As long as we serve it to you in the name of Jesus. Hello? Come on. Hello? That same Paula White that made all her money off folk that look like you and me is now telling all y'all you can go to hell. You and your African angels. Because she has aligned herself with policies, beliefs, and ideologies that are antithetical to Black liberation and empowerment. . Do you hear me? I know. I know. We are living in a place and a time of heightened division that, yeah, there's classism, there's sexism, there is homophobia, there's xenophobia, but please understand that at the substratum, at the very foundation of all of it is racism. It is the original sin, if you will, of this country from which all the other isms flow. Racism. Okay? Yeah. That is where we are. So now what do? We have to do what our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents did. We have to organize. We've got to come together. We've got to be consistent, focused, disciplined, and put forth sustained effort in order to bring about systemic change. They ran as far as they could and handed us the baton, and we dropped it. And I'm not going to dance around it. My generation dropped it. The generation following mine never even thought about picking it up. And this generation didn't even know that there was a race to run. They don't even believe that there's a real race. And it's time to awaken. This is a clarion call for us to awaken, to stop being black faces with white minds, whitewashed souls, so steeped in the racist ideology of this time, country, and this century that we cannot see what's happening right before our eyes, that we're finding ways to justify it and excuse it. There is absolutely nothing with them doing away, gutting the Voting Rights Act. There will be absolutely nothing to keep them from repealing, listen, the 14th and the 15th Amendment. You do realize that our humanity is tied to, our humanity in this country is tied to an amendment, not the Constitution, an amendment. Amendments to the Constitution, because the writers of the Constitution didn't think of us as human either. They were slave owners themselves. The Constitution, original Constitution, had to be amended in order to grant us humanity, to be thought of more than property or cattle. And so if they can amend it to give us humanity, they can unamend it to take those away. What do you mean it can't be? What do you mean it can't? That can't happen. They just showed you that it can. That precedent means nothing to this court. And while they will leave it on the book like they did the Voting Rights Act, oh yeah, the shell of it is there. But in effect, it is non-existent. So the 15th, 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment will still be there, but of no effect. And do you understand that the 13th Amendment did not outlaw slavery? slavery still exists in the United States? Yes, it does. No, it don't. Where are people? Ain't no slaves here. There are millions of slaves. The 13th Amendment did not outlaw slavery because it left one exception clause in that amendment that said, if you are convicted of a crime and incarcerated, then you become the property. Did you hear that word? The property of the state. You are the slave. Why do you think prisoners can be forced to work and not get paid? Slavery. It's legalized slavery because it was never meant to be fully outlawed. That's why immediately after the passing of the 13th Amendment, they put in place black codes. Hello? Loitering became against the law, so they could arrest you just for standing in the wrong place and thereby enslave you in a system that was designed to keep you in bondage. 13% of the population, yet over 80% of the prison population. You think that's by accident? It's a way to be able to keep their slaves. And they don't care if a few of them get caught up in the net. The ultimate target is still being gotten. Us. Disproportionately long sentences for the same crime. White boy does it, gets a year or two, probation. Black guy does the exact same thing, gets 20 to 30 years. Because we need our slaves. And so the moment that you are enslaved, you're no longer considered a full citizen. See, they have to remove citizenship in order to remove your humanity, in order to remove your freedom, and call you a slave. Oh, I'm sorry, a prisoner. And so you don't have the right to vote. And you lose that right forever. Oh, there's a few states that have said that we're going to restore your voting right. Do you know what kind of hoops you got to jump through in order to get your right back to vote once you've been convicted of a felony? And they've made everything a felony now? And the slave patrols, the police are completely unchecked. You can be arrested, harassed, beaten, brutalized, and killed by these terrorists with badges who act with impunity because they know they will not be held accountable because they are doing the exact bidding that they were created to do. Round up those slaves and bring them back to the plantation. And when the plantations begin to run low on labor, then the arrests begin to go up. They send out the slave patrols and say, go get those runaway slaves and bring them back. Bring them back. I don't care what they do. They could just be standing there. They could just be trying to barbecue. They could be just trying to walk to work. They could just be driving down the street. They could be whatever they're doing. Just go and get them. And you can attack them, brutalize them, and then we will charge them with resisting arrest by you when there was no justifiable reason to arrest them in the first place, because we need those slaves back on the plantation. And we've got a huge number of straw bosses that look just like us, house Negroes who will wear the slave patrol uniform and join the gang to do the bidding of the master. Oh, Lord, I know I'm making some enemies now. But I said it, I meant it. Before I take it back, I'll add more to it. Hello? Not all cops now. Not all cops. Oh, well, Muhammad Ali said it best. If there's a whole herd of vipers and snakes that are heading toward me, am I supposed to sit there and try and figure out which one's poisonous and which one's not? Or should I just assume that the whole lot of them running together are out to hurt me? Or I just sit there and let them all bite me, and just because not all snakes are poisonous, just some of them. Come on. We have always been the target. We remain the target. Now, what are you willing to do? I'm serious. I'm so sick of all of this nonsense, and I'm sick of so-called leaders who don't have nothing more to say than shake your neighbor's hand like you're gonna shake it off, and can do all kind of vocal calisthenics with their voice and turn flips and twist and tut and flop and slap their hands on you until you fall out and shake and quake like you having a seizure. But when the world is crumbling around us, they don't have nothing of substance to say, except for look for the sweet by and by, and God gonna make a way after a while. Hello? When they sang those, my mother and those old mothers and deacons and others that when I grew up with there at First Missionary Baptist Church in Gainesville, Florida, would sing those songs like, I will trust in the Lord. I will stay on the battlefield. They weren't just saying words. They were on the battlefield for real, fighting for us. What battlefield you on now? Oh, I'm doing spiritual warfare, fighting in the atmosphere. You sound stupid. The real enemy are the policies, practices, and patterns that are having an outsized impact on your life. You want to wrestle against a demon or a devil? How about racism, sexism, xenophobia? How about those? Cast that devil out. Hanama Shanama. Kando. Ando. Reke. Come on. This is a call to action. You say you walk in the same anointing and power and authority as Ezekiel, Isaiah, Jeremiah. Well, I don't hear you saying none of the things that they do. Have you ever sat down and read what they actually said in the books that you holler and scream and spit from the pulpit about? Have you listened to the political substance of what's being said as they railed against the powers that be in their day? Kings, governments, authorities, calling them into accountability. The only people that you want to use them against are the ones who are actually following your foolishness. because you want to keep them subservient. You want to at least have some servants under you. Maybe they won't notice that you're still a slave. That was the issue with the straw boss. The straw boss exercised outsized authority over those brothers and sisters who were working in the field, so that he could delude himself that he was something more than a slave. And maybe those who were out in the field would stop thinking of him as a slave, but see him like master. All right. I've been on for almost 2 hours. I'm surprised as many of you as are still on here with me. I'm getting ready to stop. I might just be speaking into the ether, but I'm going to speak it nonetheless. And I'm going to keep speaking it and keep saying it until we awaken. Yes, there is a shift that is taking place. And yes, I believe that the ultimate outcome will be good. But I also believe and know that we're going to have to fight to give birth to that greater good. No birth comes without pain. You got to go through the birthing pains to bring that new life into existence, into this earth. So yes, I believe the ultimate outcome of this shifting will be good, but we are in the throes of the pain that is necessary to bring forth. And as soon as Zion travails, that's when she'll bring forth. We haven't travailed yet. We're too busy dancing and shaking and falling out and spitting bubbles and jumping pews. We haven't travailed yet. We're too busy with reality shows and chasing behind the latest fad and celebrity gossip. We haven't travailed yet. But awake, O Zion, out of your sleep and slumber. Because now is the time to travail, to fight, to quit begging, pleading, and waiting, and start taking what rightfully belongs to us. This is your call to action. This is your summon. And I hope you hear me. Thank you for tuning in.
Some of you are even afraid to dream, afraid to imagine. But I'm here to tell you that you are an infinite, limitless, boundless being. Are you willing to do what is necessary to have what you desire?
You've been listening to Apostle Isaac Miles, the disruptive innovator, a mentor, an author, a motivational speaker, an entrepreneur, and the founder and spiritual director at emergelec Life Enrichment Center. Please take a minute to subscribe, like, and share this page. If you'd like to become a partner, you can do so by emailing us at emerge.lifecenter@gmail.com. Again, that's emerge.lifecenter@gmail.com. Once again, thank you for watching.